Yeah, so there's this massive blob of seaweed that lives in the Atlantic Ocean. This type of seaweed is called sargassum. And normally it just chills out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It's this giant blob of seaweed, this mat of seaweed that normally it just circulates along the currents and stays in the middle of the Atlantic. But this year they're saying that it's going to be a big problem for Florida because I guess the seaweed's going to wash up on the beaches. And that's a problem. In addition, the sargassum this year is way bigger than it's ever been in recorded history. It's getting bigger over time. A year of seaweed that would have been considered a lot of seaweed like 5 years ago wouldn't even be considered a blip nowadays. That's how much seaweed there is this year. Yeah, I guess when it washes up ashore, it starts to like decompose and it just releases these like nauseous gases. These toxic gases that smell horrible and can give you respiratory problems. But on the bright side, I live nowhere near Florida. I find myself saying that quite a lot these days. By the way, I don't think I stated just how big this blob of seaweed is. This is the seaweed. It's 5,000 miles long. It's twice the width of the United States. Yeah, they were saying that it's caused by like fertilizers and things like that get into the ocean. This is a sediment and nutrient discharge from the Amazon. You could see right here. Fertilizers from like farms get washed into rivers and eventually carried into the ocean. And the fertilizers make it much easier for the seaweed to grow. That's what they're saying is the primary cause of this. They're also saying that I think climate change they're not sure about if climate change is making it bigger, but they're saying that it might. So there you go. Good thing I don't live in Florida to witness the seaweed releasing toxic gases and giving everybody breathing problems. They're saying they expect 3 feet of seaweed on the shores. And speaking of Florida, there's this guy. He heard this noise at his front door, and when he answered, he was bitten by an alligator. Rude, by the way. He was bitten by a 9-foot alligator. That's impressive. Normally, they only have 4 feet, but this was a 9-foot alligator. And I think it said he didn't even realize what was happening. He just opened the door, and suddenly there was an alligator biting his leg. And I think the alligator had to be euthanized. Sad for the alligator. It's just trying to live its life. Hanging out with its 9 feet. But good thing animal attacks rarely happen in the wild. Let's move on to our next story. Yeah, so this is about an Oklahoma woman who got attacked by a monkey. a pet monkey. It ripped off her frickin' ear, almost. Yeah, apparently this woman just found this monkey outside her house. So she called the police, and then the police came. And then utter pandemonium. It said when here, I'll just read this quote. As the officers got out of their patrol vehicle, the monkey jumped out on the rear of the vehicle. The monkey then ran towards the victim, who was at this point outside. He jumped on my back and landed on my head, Parker told the outlet. He started grabbing handfuls of hair and just ripped it out. He ripped my ear almost completely off my head. The monkey ran into a wooded area after attacking Parker, and the officers lost sight of the animal. That's so terrifying to just be sitting there, watching the police try to deal with this monkey, which is, by the way, on their vehicle, on their cop car, and then it jumps off the cop car and starts running at you, jumps on your head, and tears off your freaking ear almost. Yes. This was a girl, a 14-year-old girl, who was in Michigan, I guess, a Michigan exotic pet store. During this pet store had like a meet a sloth experience. I guess they had a sloth. You pay like $50 to meet the sloth. Is this the girl that was bitten? I don't know. So she was like just chilling with the sloths. You think they're slow. You think they're harmless. They're not. They can apparently this teenager or this girl that got bitten by the sloths said it was like being bitten by a snake. That's how fast the sloth was for biting her. She didn't even realize that she was being bitten until like afterwards when she was like in her car. Yeah, apparently sloths, that's a hard word to say. Apparently sloths. Sorry, I had a moment there. Apparently sloths, they don't like being handled, and they can move very quickly, at least their head, to bite things. Also, they have like terrible eyesight. It said in the article that they thought that maybe the sloth thought the girl's arm was an apple. They really have. I can't understate how poor their eyesight is. Like sometimes, literally in the wild, sloths will grab onto their own arm, thinking it's a branch, and then they'll let go with their other arm, and then they'll fall to their deaths. That's the thing that happens because they can't see. Sloths are confusing to me. They're super slow. They eat food that barely has any nutritional content, are terrible at digesting it, have terrible eyesight. They only poop like every 3 weeks. They're just fascinating to me. Yeah, I think the girl was fine, though. I think she had to get like rabies shots. But other than that, she's fine. Although her lifelong dream of becoming a veterinarian, I think that's what it was ruined because now she's terrified of animals. I don't mean to laugh. It's really sad. Yes, this building inspector. I think that's what it was. Yeah, a building inspector was in this attic, and he saw this, and he thought it was just like a toy, or like a taxidermied alligator or something. And he was 2 feet away from it and like shined his flashlight at it. I guess the alligator was sleeping. It was a real alligator. It woke up and just like, I guess, looked at him. It's just like, oh my God. And apparently he had like trouble convincing his like, what would you call it? Coworkers that there was an alligator in the attic. That's good. I just realized alligator in the attic. You have alliteration. It sounds like a children's book. It's a big alligator. It was an 8-foot alligator. Did I mention that? It was 8 feet. Another alligator with more than 4 feet. Impressive. 8 feet. Zebra. This one's about a zebra. This was all articles in the past week. That's what I just find fascinating. How many animal attacks? They're all in the United States, too. The United States is an insane country. Zebra almost bit a man's arm off. Didn't quite do it, though. Yeah, there's this man in Ohio. I guess Ohio has really lax laws about owning exotic animals. This man just owns a bunch of zebras, and his arm was bit off. Yeah, zebras are pretty terrifying. Like, if you ever wonder why horses were domesticated but not zebras, one of the reasons is that they are very aggressive. Another reason is like their backs aren't strong enough to like hold people. That's pretty significant too. Yeah, I guess this zebra had become super territorial because it was like guarding a bunch of female zebras, or it was like I don't know how the zebras work. Yeah, I was being protective of like 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Sorry, what? I had a moment. Oh God, I had another moment. Oh God, sorry. I'm sorry. That happens sometimes where I'm words come out of my mouth, but I like can't control the words that come out of my mouth. I just get so emotional. Anyway, yeah, zebras almost bit a man's arm off. but didn't. And the zebra was shot dead by the police officers. So yeah, poor zebra, poor man. He probably shouldn't have owned zebras, but I guess I can't judge too hard. He's already had enough to deal with his arm almost being bit off. He's already learned his lesson, I guess. Florida textbook altered to remove references to Rosa Parks' race report. My question is, how? How is it possible to talk about Rosa Parks without talking about her race? That's the whole reason why Rosa Parks is famous. It's because she was a black woman on a bus that was asked to give up her seat for a white passenger, and she refused, and she was arrested because of that. That's the whole reason we talk about Rosa Parks. Yeah, so this is the first version of the textbook. This is the second version that omitted her race. I'll just read what it says to you. This is the first version. Rosa Parks showed courage. One day, she rode the bus. She was told to move to a different seat because of the color of her skin. She did not. She did what she believed was right. And the revised version, I'll read to you. Rosa Parks showed courage. One day, she rode the bus. She was told to move to a different seat. She did not. She did what she believed was right. It's exactly the same, but they admitted the sentence because of the color of her skin. And it literally makes it like not make any sense. Okay. Well, that's one thing that's happening in Florida. I'm glad that I don't live in Florida. That's like the second time I've said this episode. Oh, boy. Oh, now here's a story. There was a study published in the Frontiers of Psychology journal that found that people who think they're attractive are less likely to wear masks. This is based off a survey of 1,030 participants. They also found the inverse was true. People that think they're less attractive are more likely to wear masks, which is kind of sad. Yeah, they also the interview also asked about various activities that they would be willing to wear a mask in. And they found that for more mundane activities where people were less likely to care about the way they look, they'd be more likely to wear a mask. So they would more likely to be wearing a mask if they were walking a dog. That's kind of sad. It's kind of sad, but it makes sense. Oh, so this is a story. So there's this proposal in Minnesota right now to offer free school lunch to all students. And there's this guy, State Senator Steve Drakowski, who is against the proposal. And to hear why, I have a quote from him. Quote, "I have yet to meet a person in Minnesota that is hungry." I have yet to meet a person in Minnesota that says that they don't have enough food to eat. People don't get hungry in Minnesota. It's not a thing that happens. According to this guy, he goes on to say, now this is insane. Quote, "Now, I should say that hunger is a relative term," said the legislator. "I had a cereal bar for breakfast. I guess I'm hungry now." God damn, this guy's an asshole. Ha ha ha. What a stupid politician. I'm sure glad this guy doesn't represent me because I don't live in... Wait a minute. I do live in Minnesota. Oh God, this sucks. This sucks now that... This isn't funny now that it actually affects me. It's funny when it happens to some other god-awful state like Florida. Although I'm still glad I don't live in Florida. This is related. This is a related story. Lunchables to begin serving meals in school cafeterias as part of a new government program. Great. Yeah, there was some deal that was made between Kraft Heinz, which owns Lunchables, and the public school system. Yeah, there's a special version of Lunchables, apparently, which with improved nutrition that's going to be that's going to be served in K-12 schools nationwide beginning this fall. I'm worried. Yeah, I guess there are quite a few schools in America that are dealing with high food prices and labor shortages, and they don't have enough people to prepare actual food. So they're preparing Lunchables now. Is it really that cheaper to sell Lunchables? They're like $3 each. Maybe if you buy in bulk. Just a lot of sodium. Yeah, it says in this article that they consider the Lunchables to have a vegetable in them because they have pizza sauce. It reminds me of when they started considering like ketchup a vegetable in public schools to meet the requirements that they all need to have a vegetable. I mean, yeah, I used to like Lunchables. I feel like if I had them today, I would probably be sick after eating one. Okay. This is a thing that's happening. Joe Exotic is running for president in 2024. Joe Exotic, the what is he? He's like a tiger, like king, and he was arrested because he murdered somebody, and there's a documentary about it. So that's the thing that's happening. Yeah, he says on his website, I have a quote right here that I'll read. That's on his campaign website. Quote, "Thank you for your interest in my campaign. Yes, I know I am in federal prison, and you might think that this is a joke, but it's not." That's always a good sign that you have to clarify that your campaign isn't a joke. "It is my constitutional right to do this even from here. So put aside the fact that I am gay, that I am in prison for now, that I have used drugs in the past, that I have had more than one boyfriend at once, and that Carol hates my guts." Why would you list off all of the bad things about yourself in your campaign pitch? I'll return to the quote. "This has not a thing to do with me being able to be your voice. The best thing you have going for supporting me is that I am used to fighting my whole life just to get by. I am broke. They have taken everything I have ever worked for away, and it's time we take this country back." It's kind of sad, actually, reading that. I don't know. Would he really be the worst president? I don't think so, actually. He's running as a libertarian, which it's fine, I guess. Now, this is a story. Giant shapeless penis plant that smells like rotting flesh was grown in a greenhouse in Netherlands. They have a sort of a tropical plant, greenhouse that you can go look at. And they host these plants from, I think, Indonesia. The plant is named Amorphophallus gigas, which literally means giant shapeless penis. Yeah, this was in a botanical garden in the Netherlands. And they only bloom for a few days, 2 days. Yeah, I wonder if these plants are just hard to grow or if they don't flower very often. I mean, they kind of they don't really look like a penis. It's kind of disappointing. Yeah, I looked at the Wikipedia page for Amorphophallus, which is the type of genus of this plant, and there's literally dozens. Every single one of these is a type of penis plant, and there's literally dozens of them. I'm impressed, and they're all named Amorphophallus, which means shapeless penis. Oh, this is good news. There's this cow, and its markings form a smiley face. And it had as a job as the farm lawnmower now. And everybody likes it because of its cute little smiley face on the side of it. That's fun. That's fun, I guess. It's a cow with a smiley face on it. I've never seen that before myself. Yeah, so anyways, that's your little bit to cheer you up. Here's this severed hand, but that wasn't actually a severed hand. It's the old, I call the police because I think it's a severed hand, but it's actually a mannequin hand blunder that a lot of people fall for. I do this story so much times. I've seen this story so many times that I've reported on this little series that I do. Suspected human hand in Florida canal was a mannequin limb. We are ready for every matter at hand. That's what the police said about this incident. That's pretty good. Now let's talk about a real severed hand in New York City. I guess this woman, or the body of this woman, had been buried for like 6 years. And when they dug her up, they needed to like relocate her body for some reason. And they dug her up. And I guess somehow she lost her hand in the whole debacle. And they don't know how it ended. It was like a mile away from the graveyard. They don't know how it got there. Probably an animal or something. That is crazy. To just find a severed hand in the forest, that would ruin my day, frankly. Japanese company grows the world's heaviest radish. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty big radish, I think. I've never seen a radish that big. I don't even know if I've seen a radish. It was 101 pounds and 1.8 ounces. Well, congratulations to Manda Fermentation Company, which specializes in supplements and fertilizers made from fermented plants. Okay. My favorite company. Oh, and longtime viewers of the channel know that I really like to end these weird news reports with a really good, really exciting news article to end it all off with. And this week is no different. Let's see what we have today. Man with world's largest tongue breaks Jenga world record, specifically the fastest time to remove 5 Jenga blocks with the tongue. Does having a very long tongue give you an advantage in that specific record? He did it in 3.97 inches. No, that's how long his tongue is 3.97 inches. And he managed to remove 5 Jenga blocks from a stack in 55.526 seconds. I mean, that's not... I expected it to be a little bit faster, honestly. Sorry. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer. I just noticed the title of the video that's embedded in this article. What can you do with the world's largest tongue? Apparently, you can remove 5 Jenga blocks with your tongue in 55 seconds. Well, okay, that's it, I guess. That's all the news, basically. That's all the important news.